In today's video, Nathan and I are going to be making a chocolate bark as a gift. A chocolate bark as a gift, a hostess gift for a friend of ours, but this also can be made as a gift for, you can make a bunch of it one time as Christmas gifts. I'm also going to be showing you how to take just some simple things from around your house and wrap something and make it cute. So today I'll be using some of the last foliage from the yard.
We're Nathan and Tiffany. We own a wellness practice where we have dedicated our professional lives to helping people achieve, maintain, and enjoy wellness. We also love a great adventure. This is the channel where those two loves align.
As far as how to make chocolate bark, don't get too complicated. However, you can make it as complicated or as simple as you want it to be. So the simplest way to do it is use a high quality chocolate chip like Ghirardelli or something like that. But you can also make the chocolate, and in the past I've made it out of coconut oil, cocoa powder, a good quality cocoa powder, and either maple syrup if my friends are vegan, or honey if they're not, or a combination of both. That makes a lovely chocolate bark as well, but that's more labor intensive. So if you don't want to do that, today we're going to show you how to make it out of chocolate chips. Easiest way to melt the chocolate is in a microwave, but we don't have a microwave. And this is an area of contention with my husband, but I'm going to show you how to use a double boiler. So in a double boiler, all you need is a pan, water, and some sort of glass dish. It's preferable if the dish fits perfect, but if it doesn't, I'm using like a metal trivet from my Instant Pot that raises it up so that it's not touching the bottom. The reason why you would use a double boiler is because if you put chocolate directly in a pan and heat it up, it scorches it, and it ruins the flavor of the chocolate. Also, it can just melt it all to the bottom of the pan. So a double boiler melts it smoothly and it doesn't ruin the flavor. So depending on how much chocolate you want to make will determine how much you put in the jar. For those of you who have seen me cook before, you know I don't measure anything. So this is my little homemade double boiler. Not very fancy, but I've just taken a glass dish, and in here I have made the water just up to a little bit above the bottom of it, and I've put a metal trivet so it raises the glass dish off of the bottom. So if you had a larger glass bowl, you wouldn't even need to do that. The steam would just come up. But there's my homemade double boiler. So the chocolate is just starting to melt, so make sure that you mix it regularly, but still got a little bit longer. I'm going to rough chop some pecans and some walnuts. So this is starting to get smooth now. It's almost totally melted. Push it down from the sides every once in a while, and this should be another 30, maybe 60 seconds. It's going to be totally done. Okay, so now my chocolate is smooth, and I'm going to pour it out onto parchment paper. And the nice thing about this is a little bit of imperfection is kind of what makes it beautiful. It doesn't need to be perfect. You do have to move fairly quick though, because it's going to harden reasonably fast. I'm going to spread it out. But I don't want it too thin, but I don't want it too thick either. And I want to make the edges not too thin, because then you have these like little thin breakable edges. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some almond butter and swirl it in. And I'm going to try, if I can, to make this pretty little design. We'll see how it goes. I don't know if it's going to go well or not. It can be ugly to start with, but it might end up pretty when it's all said and done. Oh, geez. I love it. Don't be too perfect. That's kind of what makes it fun. And then, let's see if I can make it pretty. You ready? Watch. The sound effects help. That's pretty good. I like it. All right, now to add our stuff. This is pecans. This is walnuts. Whoa, got a big clump of walnuts there. This is hemp seeds. So I'm starting to add a little bit of nutritional value. So some hemp seeds. Whoa, always making a mess. I'm a very messy cook.
Absolutely.
Some chia seeds. I really like chia seeds and stuff like this. And I think to finish it off, some coconut. Oh, this looks so pretty. Boom. And then we're just gonna let it harden and break it up. Doesn't that look cute? Okay, so now what I want to talk to you about is how you can do this all different ways. So you can use dried fruit. I actually think a really delicious version of this is when you use some nuts and fruits together. So apricots, cherries, cranberries, blueberries. You can also use freeze-dried fruit, like freeze-dried strawberries can also be really, really good. If you want to add some other chocolates, you can do what I did with the almond butter, you could do with a white chocolate or a butterscotch chip or something like that. But depending on what you're going for, you could even add some sea salt to this and make it like, you know, that the salty element to it. So when you're talking about like what makes food delicious, essentially there's a whole documentary on salt, fat, acid, and heat, which, you know, to add some heat to this, some chili flakes or something could be really good, but I don't know. But in terms of the simpler little trifecta, it's salt, fat, and sugar. And we have all of that. We've got all of that in here. We've got the salt in all of the nuts. We've got the salt in the almond butter. We have the fat in basically everything. And we have the sugar in the chocolate. So that makes things taste delicious, right? So we've taken a slightly healthier spin on this whole thing. And a little tip that might be helpful for you is I very gently, the larger pieces, I just gently press them in. I think it looks more beautiful when you do everything on top. You can also turn this into more like a chocolate bar, mix it in while it's melted and then spread it. But I don't think that's nearly as beautiful. So there's also two ways to get this to cool off. You can just let it sit here. It takes a couple of hours. You can do it a little bit faster by taking this and putting it in the refrigerator. You can also put it in the freezer if you're really crunched for time. Chocolate on my hands. And almond butter. All the things all over me. But anyway, I'm going to put it in the fridge. I'm going to let it harden. And then just like everything I like when it comes to cooking or being in the kitchen, the less precise, the more I love it. And you're going to break it with your hands. I think it's better when it's in like 2 or 3 inch chunks, but it's supposed to be imperfect. Perfectly imperfect. So now for the fun part, being destructive. So I'm just going to take this. Oh, is it quite? And break it into pieces. And actually, I probably could wait it a little bit longer. It's hard enough, but it's like slightly soft. See how it's kind of bending? And so I'm going to have extra, so I'm going to put some on this plate. And you could either make 2 gifts, or you can have some for yourself.
Do we get to try it now?
Yeah.
I can pick any piece I want. Okay.
I want the piece with lots of almond butter on it.
It's melty. Good job.
Good job, guys. Okay, so this is not going to be that complicated, but I think it'll probably come out pretty cute. So I have my little pottery bowl that I made. Obviously, you can buy one, but I think having a nice little cute dish is a nice touch. I'm going to put it in the middle. We're a minimalist-ish family, so we don't have a lot of stuff. So I keep this thing of jute string, and we basically use that for everything. And I'm just going to put the little rose from my garden. Oh, cute. Cute. Ta-da! So the moral of this story is that a homemade, sweet, thoughtful gift does not have to be complicated. It can be delicious and simple, and making something a nice little presentation also. Use what you've got around the house. Go cut some pine boughs. So right now in the fall, there's probably some really beautiful leaves on the ground that are bright. You could put that in it. You could do the same thing with cellophane if that's all you had, some saran wrap, and make it pretty that way. I think that reusing some of the things that we have is a really great way to reduce, reuse, recycle, the whole thing, and also show a personal touch.